Congratulations, you finally made it to 4 p.m. You know what that means. Happy hour. It's time to kick back, relax, and dive into the world of sports with the Young and Norvelle Show. Whether you're catching up on the latest scores, analyzing the big plays, or gearing up for tonight's games, we've got you covered. So grab a cold one, settle in, and let's talk sports. Here they are, Patrick Young and Terry Norvelle.
All right, here we go. It is a hump day. If it's hump day, well, that means it is Twin Peaks Day. Thank you very much. Isn't that funny how that works? Terry Norvelle, Brent Beard, Patrick Young may join us in a little bit, hopefully via phone. We are set up at our Wednesday home, Atlantic and Kernan. Twin Peaks, wonderful addition to the restaurant community here. A lot of people checking it out at high noon or actually at happy hour, 4 till whenever. They got double happy hour. Brent Beard, a lot to get to today on the program. A lot of college stuff, a lot of Jaguar stuff. Word came out today. Don't mean to just jump into it, but we will. Word came out today from Jaguar headquarters. Trevor Lawrence is out.
Yeah, saw that.
For the Detroit game. And probably discretion, better part of valor. Is that the phrase?
Yes.
Is that the phrase?
It's close enough.
I mean, they're 2-8. They're going to Detroit. Jaguars are not a good football team. You know, Lawrence would not be anywhere near 100% if he went to Detroit.
No.
Why play him with a bye week? Why play him?
There's no use. No, absolutely not. That's good. So will Mac Jones start again?
Looks like Mac Jones will get another start back to back. And Mac Jones is really, I think, and please add your thoughts on this. Mac Jones is playing the next couple weeks, and they're probably going to hold Trevor. Why would you bring him back the stretch run?
Agree.
Is Mac Jones, I think he's playing for his potential. Am I going to be a starter and get one more chance in the league? Or am I going to the next 10 years, which is a good living? Am I going to do this for the next 10 years?
Carry clipboard.
Right, carry clipboard, right? And he's got to play better than he did Sunday.
He does.
Mac Jones can quarterback the Jaguars. The Jaguars can lose football games. The Jaguars can lose football games 24-10. But Mac Jones independently can still put a nice independent video resume out there. He did not do that Sunday.
Yes. Yeah, look, Mac Jones has the time. He is a very accurate quarterback, was very undervalued at first in Alabama, really came along. Now, he had some tremendous receivers with him, too. Devonta Smith is one of those. But hopefully he'll do better in his second start.
Yeah, and these are big starts for him.
Mm-hmm. They are.
I mean, this really determines if Mac Jones, again, the wins and losses don't really matter for Mac Jones.
They don't.
I mean, he can't come out and say that, but he's trying to put a video resume out because, as you know, every season, every in-season, every off-season, the NFL, there's always 5 or 6 organizations that say we're not happy with our quarterback.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Absolutely.
And Mac Jones is looking to get a chance at one of those. He's not going to get that chance here. This is a injury chance. But he's got to put good tape out. He had good tape in preseason. Mm-hmm. That didn't help him Sunday.
No, it didn't. But I tell you what, with the quarterback shooting I've seen from the NFL and college, he can hold his own with a lot of them.
Yeah. So big week, I think, for Mac Jones, particularly going into the off week. The Jaguars, the more and more I think about it, I don't think they're going to lose enough to get the number 1 pick. But the more and more I think about it, I think the number 1 pick is one of the few things that they could use to start digging out. The Jaguars need the number 1 pick. Are you of the same camp? And feel free to not agree with me. Are you of the same camp as me? If the Jaguars lose enough games down the stretch to get the number 1 pick again, it would be the 3rd time in 5 years. That's unprecedented. I've got the numbers. We'll go over. Mm-hmm. Are you in the camp that the Jaguars, if they get the number 1, go draft? The best player in the draft is going to come out to be Travis Hunter. He's going to, he can help a lot of teams.
Yeah.
Are you of the camp that says the Jaguars need to go get the one of one, go get the best player, or do you think they need to rake in multiple good players with them?
Multiple players.
Absolutely, I'm 200%.
Multiple players. They I won't say they're wasting their time
totally
with
agree.
the number 1 pick, but if you've got the number 1 pick and you can get what, Terry, 4, 5 players, you do it.
You've got to be able to command if somebody wants and it really helps when a franchise is out there that's had a terrible season, like the Jaguars, that has earmarked, we have to get a quarterback of the future.
Yes.
That's the marquee position.
Sure.
And if you've got a couple of those teams, the Jaguars then, if they get the number one pick, they can shop it. They can go, hey, Team A, you really want Shedeur Sanders. We're sitting in one. If you want to guarantee Shedeur Sanders before Team B drafts and takes Shedeur Sanders, let's do a deal. We'll give you the one, but we need a starting guard. We need a starting cornerback.
Yep.
And we want your pick number 9.
Well,
because 9's not going to – and that's what I would do if I'm the Jaguars.
We often think alike. Let's just pretend that they trade it and they get 4 players. 2 of those need to be offensive linemen.
They really do.
I'm serious.
They really do.
They really do.
They really do. So if the Jaguars – I'm not so sure I can think of a way that the Jaguars could
we have got an altercation on board.
Quickly. Digging out of this massive hole they're in that doesn't involve getting the one. I don't know. They're not going to – no matter what they do with the salary cap, they're not going to have a bunch of room, frankly, with salary cap. Secondarily, with salary cap, this is not a great destination. Superstar players aren't going, man, if you can at least give me in the ballpark numbers that Houston, I'll come to Jacksonville.
Yeah, right. Yeah, well, yeah, that's very accurate. A couple things there. It is Jacksonville's biggest overall problem, and you and I have talked about this for years. The worst thing that can happen to a franchise is you just become irrelevant.
Yeah.
That no one. It's not that they hate you or they love you. It's they just ignore you.
Do you mean that locally and in the league? Because I think I'm going to say in the league they're irrelevant as well.
They are. Oh, I would agree with that.
Locally, your fan base is I think you've used the word apathetic, and that's terrible.
Yeah, it is.
But I think also to cut you off, which is rude of me, but to jump on what you just said, irrelevant, the rest of the league, and that means the free agents don't even consider Jacksonville. I don't care if there's no state income tax. I don't care if it's warm weather. I don't care if it's natural turf versus indoor tough.
Right.
Get tackled on turf. They're irrelevant.
Listen, Sunday during the game, I was in the gym, I was in Target, and I was
showing off.
And I was in Publix. Okay, so every place I'm at, it's packed. And the amazing thing is, even in the gym with 20 televisions, not a one of them was on the Jaguar game.
You text me that. I couldn't believe that.
That's true.
I could not believe that.
Yeah, that's very true.
In Jacksonville, Florida, game time, game going on, Jacksonville Jaguars, NFL team.
That's accurate.
All those TVs, we all go to the gyms where they've got them lined up.
Yeah. Absolutely.
But let me guess, there was probably an episode of Leave It to Beaver. There was MSNBC. There was Fox. There was CNN.
Of course.
There was probably ESPN.
Well,
College Game Day from yesterday.
Yeah. And look,
wow.
We said this, didn't we, in September, Terry? And looking at the schedule, they would not win again until December.
Yeah. And I'm really torn now. Those last 5 games, they're about to wrap up these first 5 that we said, oh boy. Right, they got 2 more. They got Detroit and Houston.
Yeah.
Then the last 5 are very manageable. Are they helping or hurting the cause if they go out and win 2 or 3 of the last 5 and they get pick number 8?
Yeah.
Instead of 1.
Right. Sure.
Because there's some wins left on that schedule.
Tennessee is
twice.
one of them. Yeah.
Play them twice, I think.
Yeah. Man.
Interesting. It's a tough situation. Now, would it be unprecedented? And I'm throwing this out rhetorically because I've kind of gotten the answers here. The Jacksonville Jaguars had the number 1 pick in 2021, 22. They had back-to-back number 1 picks, right? And then Cincinnati and Chicago got the number 1, okay? The Jaguars, if they got the number 1 pick again this year, that would mean they would have the number 1 pick 3 out of 5 years. And I went back through modern football, going back in the 60s. working our way forward. That's unprecedented.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, you've
sure
had
it is.
the Cleveland Browns had the number one pick back-to-back 17 and 18. The Browns then had back-to-back 99-02 or 2000, okay?
Yeah.
But never 3 in a row, never 3 out of 5. Cincinnati had the 94-95 first pick. That was when the Jaguars were coming in the league. And the Tampa Bay Bucks had the number one pick back-to-back years. Now, one of them was kind of an asterisk. 76 was their inaugural year. They were given the number one pick.
Yeah.
76, 77, and the Bucks also 86, 87. But nobody's had, from best I could tell, going back into the mid-60s, nobody has had 3 number one overall picks in a 5-year span. That's what the Jaguars would have. I mean, that is groundbreakingly bad.
That's a microcosm of your organization.
Yes, it is. They went out and got Trevor, and they went out and got Trayvon Walker back-to-back. Then, as I said, they haven't had the number one pick for 2 years. But if they get it this year, 3 out of the last 5 freaking years, they would have the number one pick.
And again, one player is not going to do it.
No.
One player is not going to do it. They need, if they get that, and let's just say they'll probably get the top 5 pick to be conservative and say it may not be number one, but it's probably a top 5.
Is that one pick, though? Is that the only? I can't see another way that they could dig out of the hole quicker than getting that pick.
I agree.
And then being smart with it.
Yes.
But how sad is that? I mean, trades are done. They don't have the trade window's closed. It'll open again in the offseason.
Right.
The trade window's closed.
Sure.
And they don't have trade collateral, number one. The
Right.
free agency will open, obviously, after the season's over. But between Tyson Campbell, Trevor Lawrence, and Hines Allen, those are 3 huge contracts they just paid.
Yes.
I can't believe, and I know you can move around and massage. I can't believe you can massage your way into having much capital for free agency.
Right. But see, they don't need they need players, Terry. They don't need 2 players and 3 draft picks in the future.
No kidding. No kidding. And then if you get draft picks, are you going to hit on them?
Right.
Are you going to hit on them?
Right.
If you can figure out a way to free up free agency money, does the free agent want to come here?
Yes.
You can go talk to all the superstar receivers, tackles, cornerbacks you want, but I always say this: you can't grab their hand and make them sign.
No, can't.
Right? And I just don't think it's a destination location. This is an off-season topic, and it's not continuously just bashing the Jaguars. But you've got to ask and look at this. They're wrapping up season 30, I think, right? I think this is wrapping up. And Zach, you can help us. I think this is the Jaguars' 30th. It's either 29 or 30. They're wrapping up basically 3 decades. And I get that they had 2 games where they were a game from the Super Bowl. But we're talking, have they gotten anywhere in 30 years?
It's been mediocre.
Have the Jags? We're talking, do you realize when the Jaguars kicked it off for real in 95, if you were born that day, you're 30 years old right now, and you look back, and if you're the most ardent Jaguar fan, has this franchise gotten anywhere? In not 3 years, not 13, 30, 3 decades, 30 freaking years. Have they gotten anywhere?
And that's the reason for the being irrelevant and the apathy.
In the apathy. We'll come up on our first break here in a moment. Not that I'm burying. I don't cover the Jaguar. We follow the Jags here. Our show's a little different, I think, than most of your local shows, podcast, radio, TV. I think you're a big part of this show, and I've leaned on you over the years. Patrick Young obviously is a part of our naming of our show, and when we were putting this thing together, do we cover the Jaguars? Do we follow the Jaguars? Of course, this is our number one topic right now. We're talking about, but I think the last thing we thought our show, which is over 2 years old now, the last thing we need to do is be show number 16 that all you do is talk about the Jaguars, right?
There's plenty of that out
there.
Right.
I didn't think we needed to just say, okay, there are 15 other shows that 80% are Jaguars. Let's do it again. There are 15 shows in and around our area, and you know the colleagues. I know the colleagues. I love them all. You love them all. But they're all the same show. There's really one show with 15 different voices.
Yes.
I didn't think we needed to be, A, thrown in that mix, and B, I'm certainly happy. I don't tell you what to say. I don't tell Patrick what to say. Y'all don't tell me what to say. I'm happy, though, that our show, I think we are here looking at the Jaguars from afar, and I think with a much clearer eyeball.
Yeah,
would you agree with that?
And probably a little more impartial.
I would agree with that.
Looking at it too, which I think is important.
I totally agree with that.
But and I'll tell you this. I bet you've had this happen too. I'll have people sometimes they'll come to me and say, "I want to start a podcast. I want to get into sports."
I know where you're going.
The first thing I tell them is, do not do a Jaguar podcast.
Absolutely. Well, no, I know the Jaguars. Me and my buddy, we're Jaguar fans. We want to get on, and if you can help us, guide us, and we want to do a 2-hour show 3 times a week, and it's going to be, we're going to call it Jaguar Today. And no, that's
you're wasting your time.
That's done. But I think it's important that our show, yes, we cover the Jaguars. We will always cover. Now, we're not in bed with the Jaguars. We're not flying on the charter going to road games, home game, press conferences. But we also, and you know, I've had fun, but I've meant everything I've said when I started calling last March, April, May. I've seen it too many times. When I started calling out my colleagues and calling them the fluffy local Jaguar media. I don't ever want to be part of that, because if this offseason didn't show you what I was talking about and what we were talking about, nothing will. There was nothing in the offseason in and around the Jacksonville Jaguars organization coming into this season that led anybody to believe, in our industry especially, that they were going to be good. But the fluffy Jaguar media stirred it up again, and I think part of it's being lazy in the offseason. It's hard to be good and compelling in the offseason. There are a couple of weeks that, and there's not many, but there are a couple of weeks where we have to work hard. I think our local media, and I can't speak for other local media because this is where I'm at. I think our local media is fluffy and lazy, and it's easy March, April, May, June radio to go, man, they're going to be good. They got this center from Buffalo, and they got this guy from Eric Armstead from, I can't remember where he came from, and they're going, well, Gabe Davis has got, well, wait a minute. I want our show to be, what's a Gabe Davis? There are 5,000 Gabe Davises in the league. Mitch Morris is a 32-year-old, tired-legged, 10-year veteran. I'm glad our show's like that.
When you look at the roster as we did in the offseason and you look at the schedule, it was an impossible task.
I certainly did not see, wow, here's Jaguar Fluffy Media, and they do it every offseason. And I tried to warn you fans. And I'm not trying to be Chicken Little, but how many times are you going to fall for it? Fluffy Jaguar Media, about 80% of them. Man, I'll tell you one thing. Break or two here and there, they're going to win 10, 11, 12 games. They were never going to win 10 or 11 games.
It's never going to happen.
When I'm out and about, and you talked about you being out and about, when I'm out and about, I get the same stuff. One thing I'm kind of proud, I get a lot of people coming up to me and saying, Terry, you should know this. Is Trevor playing or not? Well, I'll tell people, I said, look, I'm not an inside guy. I'll give you my opinion. And I don't want to be an inside guy because I think you get a little label.
Yeah, sure.
But no, when I'm out and about, I've been saying to people all season long, because people walk up to me with wide eyes. My God, they're terrible. They're 2-4. They're 2-5. They're 2-7. They're 2-8. And my pat answer back to these people, just out and about, and they kind of come at me with wide eyes after I say it. I go, well, I'm not being rude to you, Johnny or Steve or Bill or whoever, but I never thought they were going to be good this year anyway. And a lot of them will look at me like, and I'll go, well, look, just because it's your favorite team and it's a new season, that doesn't mean your team's going to be good or supposed to be good. There was, and I'll tell fans this, and they look at me like I'm handing them COVID. You know, I'm like, I did not see one thing in the offseason that led me to believe they were going to be good.
There's a long way from this, but when you got that many holes, in your lineup. You don't fill those holes in one offseason.
No, you wouldn't think. Let's take a break here. We're cruising along. Remember, in the second hour, we'll talk with Dr. Aaron Bates from Southeast Orthopedic Specialists. We got a lot to talk about. Boy, an potential ugly injury from the NBA. Chet Holmgren, the big tall guy, had a nasty fall. Nico for Tennessee. That's a weird situation.
Really
I want to
is.
get Dr. Bates' opinion. And I know
Absolutely
we're putting him in a bad spot, but Nico, does he play? Does he not play? Head injury going into the game with Georgia in Athens. He did not even come out of the locker room in the second half. Dak Prescott has a nasty hamstring situation. We're going to tie that in also with Lagway. Will Lagway play for Florida? If he does, and if he can give them 25, 30 good snaps, I think Florida's got a chance. That and a whole lot more. Brent Beard, college football news and notes coming to you next on the Young and Norvelle Show, broadcasting live from Twin Peaks.
At Southeast Orthopedic Specialists, we know pain and injuries can stop you from doing what you love. This is why our board-certified orthopedic specialists offer the latest in both non-surgical and surgical treatment options and create a treatment plan tailored to your unique lifestyle and goals. So, whether it is a sports injury or that nagging pain that's keeping you from doing what you love, our team has the right treatment for you. For more information or to schedule an appointment online, visit our website.
Finally, a family atmosphere, kid-friendly restaurant with a real sports bar feel. Bricks Jags Beach features all of that and a large, climate-controlled covered patio with misting fans and heaters for all seasons. Mix in an extremely diverse menu that features the most quality and affordable steak at the beach, and there's no reason not to enjoy your next lunch, dinner, happy hour, or big sporting event at Bricks Jags Beach, 300 2nd Street North in Jacksonville Beach. See you at Bricks Jags Beach.
You really got to hand it to him. Hold on.
The previous play is under further review.
I'm not sure what he could review, but okay. Sure has been a while. Dynamic Hurricane Grill and Wings for the football season. Well, there he is. Oh, what is that?
The Action Sports Jags 24/7 network is streaming. I'm Stuart Weber, and I'm here to teach you a nice three-step process on how you can watch all your favorite programming, from the Brent and Austin Show every weekday 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. or the Cup Date with me. It's fantastic. We talk NASCAR. It's a great time. Wednesdays at 1 o'clock. All right, first step, easy. Download the Action News Jax app. You probably already have it downloaded on your phone, so you might already have that one taken care of. Step 2, see that stack of pancakes up there? You click that stack of pancakes, and it's going to bring down step number 3, which is a full screen of all the different streams that you can click on, including the Action Sports Jags 24/7 stream. You click that, the video's rocking and rolling on your mobile device. You're watching all the shows you want to, and you're having a good time. You can also do it on your smart TV with the Action News Jax Now app. I do it on my Samsung TV at home. It's a great way to watch it on a nice, large screen for all the content. That's the Action Sports Jax 24/7 network. Hope you can find it.
You trust CGC to make your water great, and now you can trust CGC with your plumbing needs as well. Fast, convenient scheduling, licensed and insured. A quick call away at 904-552-1242.
You never know when you're going to have an issue with a shower, toilet, or maybe it's a sink that sometimes is easy to fix. All right, let's be honest. I'm not fixing anything. I'm totally staging this because when I have a plumbing problem, I call CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing.
Trained professionals, transparent pricing, customer satisfaction. Small problem or even a bigger issue. Maybe you need a new tankless water heater or something a bit more intricate. The experts with 25 years of experience at CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing can do it all. Call 904-552-1242 or visit cgcwater.com. That's 904-552-1242 or cgcwater.com. CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing, an authorized independent Connecticut dealer. Florida license number CFC 1 143-2579.
Hey, there you go on a Wednesday, little hump day edition, cloudy downtown, good-looking shot of the overhead view of Jags Vegas. Look there. Did you see that, Brent Bear? That's a good-looking shot. We just don't take advantage of that river enough.
No.
I don't think.
And I'll tell you what's exciting coming up this weekend, my friend, 70s and 40s, which is just like Christmas Day.
We got ourselves some fall weather officially rolling up in here. Speaking of official, this is our official Wednesday home, Twin Peaks. And, man, they got some stuff going on. Have you let me give you a real quick. We're going to get into some college football talk with Brent Beard, news and notes. But I want to tell you what's going on here at Twin Peaks, our Wednesday home. Hopefully you know where it's at by now, at the intersection of Atlantic and Kernan. Coming up this Friday, wait a minute, the 14th, which is tomorrow, National Pickle Day. Do you know that? National Pickle Day. And to celebrate here at Twin Peaks, if you come in and order $25 worth of food, you get free order of fried pickles. I love fried pickles. Do you like fried pickles?
I love them. I'll pass.
You ever had them?
Yeah, I'm sure I have.
You know, they get all battered up. You dip them in there, and because that's healthy for you.
Yeah,
that's all healthy for you.
Yeah.
But they're good. They're good. So National Pickle Day tomorrow. Friday. They will be carrying, it appears, they do all the MMA and all that stuff because Twin Peaks is a big sponsor of the MMA and Ultimate Fighting and all that.
Mm-hmm.
But Friday is the Jake Paul, Mike Tyson exhibition thing.
Yeah.
Have you followed much of that?
A little bit. Tyson looks like he's ready to go.
Looks like he's ready to go. Mike Tyson's like 58 years old, about to turn 59. Mm-hmm. The Jake Paul guy, 27.
Yeah.
You could almost call that elder abuse, right?
Yes.
But that event, and then this Saturday, UFC 309 is right here. This is a massive UFC hangout.
I bet it is.
They're a corporate sponsor. If you're looking to hang out and watch that type of UFC, MMA, or even the Tyson Paul with like-minded people, this place is jammed out. I've tried to come here twice, and I didn't even bother parking.
Wow.
And now there's tons of parking, but I wasn't going to come in and be a novice, so I just drove by.
Yeah,
I just drove by. But they'll take good care of you over the weekend, and then not to mention all the great college football. And, man, it's a good NFL weekend. They've got 3 or 4 good, compelling, good versus good ball games coming up in the NFL. College football news and notes. Stuff you've got, stuff I've gotten from you. Before we get to that, and I don't know, Zach, can you let me know? I'm not sure if we have the Auburn basketball audio from what happened on their flight. Brent, you heard about this, right?
No.
Sum up what happened the other day.
I do have the audio.
Okay, hang tight. We're going to get the audio for you folks to listen. But, Brent, I want you to set up when we asked Zach to play it for our viewers to hear. This is Auburn, Bruce Pearl, seasoned coach, big time, been around the block. Auburn's a good team. They're getting on their plane, their charter plane, to go play Houston, a top 10 program, Kelvin Sampson. They've been to the Final Four. Talk about what happened, just kind of what happened, what they're going to hear.
Yeah, they Auburn was going on the way to Houston. They'd gone on the plane. The plane left the ground. Somewhere early in that flight, the boys got mischievous. Somebody got mad at somebody else, and it actually turned into something physical, beyond words.
In the air.
In the air.
Auburn's team fighting each other.
Yeah. Now, I'm not saying it was a whole team or anything like that, but I understand I've heard as many as maybe 201 as far as a couple of guys.
But they got into a physical fight in flight.
Right.
And you'll hear the pilot. We're going to play the audio momentarily. The pilot basically is radioing back to air traffic control, I guess Birmingham maybe, or wherever they flew out. Auburn may have their own little airport there. He's saying permission to come back.
Yeah.
And he's telling why he wants to come back. And it sounds like he conveyed it well enough to where there were police meeting the flight on the tarmac.
Yeah.
So
yeah, but see, there are and look, the airlines no longer, they just don't put up with that.
No, it's too risky.
There's a zero tolerance for that now.
Yeah, but this was player on player, teammate. And Zach, go ahead and play it and let us know when it's done.
emergency and land. We got a bunch of basketball players fighting. The flight deck is secure. The threat level is contained for the moment. We just had, police on the ground, and we had 2 players that got into physical altercation, clothes were ripped, and 1 bloody player. And Center Aquatic 681, it's kind of crazy. Were we direct, Montgomery? Yes, sir. We have got an altercation on board.
There you have it. Hopefully you were able to hear that audio and kind of piece it together. But that's out of the cockpit. I mean, Brent, Patrick and I talked a little bit yesterday. And I kidded around a little bit, but man, if I'm on an airplane somewhere between 10 and 35,000 feet in the air, can we all just get along until we touch down?
Absolutely.
But I mean, that was 2 hours, and you heard the description. Clothes have been torn. There is bloodshed. Auburn basketball players are fighting, requesting permission to come back and land, and they're being told, by all means, come back for safety reasons. And we've got police ready to meet the flight. They get a secondary flight. They make nice. I guess they said, hey, boys being boys.
Well, they left let's put it this way. They left a couple of players back home after the plane landed.
Yes, they left a few and said, okay, let's try this again. So they get on another plane. They fly to Houston, play a really good Houston basketball program.
Very good.
Kelvin Sampson, Houston. Love him or hate him, he's a little shady, but he puts good teams out, and they've gone to the Final Four. I mean, they've nearly won the national title recently. And Auburn goes and wins the game.
Yeah.
They win the game. Did. They win the game. Speaking of basketball, I just wanted to get that out there. That was wild.
It was.
That was wild.
It really was.
College basketball, Patrick and I have talked about this, and it's only getting worse because the season is getting earlier and earlier.
Yes.
But I just hate, and case in point, Kentucky had a nice win last night over Duke.
They did.
College basketball gets buried in November and December.
There were probably more people watching the Maction games than there were
I would guess.
The college basketball games last night. Look, I've said this for years. They start entirely too early. You've still got, and look, their problem now is you've got another night that you've got the college football playoff. The committee is going to have their report in between the 2 games. Terry, they really need to wait. I don't think that at this point they'll ever do it. They really need to wait and start the season in 1st of December.
If anything, they're pulling it back earlier.
They are.
I mean, Florida the other night, along with most college basketball, opened up on November 4th.
That's right.
That was what, Monday, November 4th, I think it was.
Way too early.
Way early.
I mean, that's a little bit past Halloween.
You mentioned the college football playoff, and we all kind of know. I've got it broken down. You've probably done this, but I just want to throw this out. We're a little over a month away, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So we'll have time to clue people in. But here's how it's going to play out, okay? You guys ready? Here we go. The college football playoff starts December 20th. It lasts 1 month. It'll end January 20th.
Yes.
Monday, January 20th, the championship game. Here's the setup. And, Brent, I think you know this, but you may even not know that. Okay, first round. Okay, your first 4 seeds are off.
Correct.
Right? So 5 through 12 will play. 5, 6, 7, and 8 will host
home games.
Yeah, 5, 6, 7, and 8 will host 9, 10, 11, and 12.
Mm-hmm.
So there's 4 games. Here we go. The playoff starts Friday, December 20th. On that night, that Friday, there's 1 game.
Yeah.
That is a 8 o'clock kick, 1 game. And we don't really know who it is yet. It hasn't been set. Now, the following day, Saturday the 21st, 3 games.
Yeah.
At 12, 4, and 8.
It's wonderful.
So how about that? You've got college playoff game 1 ever in the history, and it's going to be at worst, it's going to be 5-12, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
So Friday, December 20th, 1 game at 8 o'clock. About time you wake up the next morning on Saturday, December 21st, you've got 3 games, elimination games, lose or leave town, on March Madness. You've got a nooner, a 4, and an 8. Now, if we're not ecstatic enough, how good is that going to be?
It's going to be great. And a couple of things to keep in mind here. Number 12, obviously, is going to be your best group of 5. Well, yeah, the group 5 teams. And the other thing that's going to be quite different is think about that date. What happens on that date? It's a little bit before Christmas. So what does that mean? Well, it means if you're going up north, it may be a tad chilly and it may be a tad snowy.
How about that? In the stadiums for college football. And by the way, I haven't looked, but I'm almost positive that Saturday, December 21st, when there's 3 games, I think the NFL will be mixed in there somewhere.
Yeah,
the NFL starts playing on Saturdays in December.
Yeah.
So that's first round. Okay. So after those 4 teams win and move on, of course, the 4 bye teams will then play the quarterfinals. Stay with me, Brent. The quarterfinals will be Tuesday, December 31st, New Year's Eve. 1 game, 7:30, the Fiesta Bowl.
Yeah, that's pretty that's pretty smart.
Okay,
yes.
so 1 game, December 31st, New Year's Eve. Okay, so somebody's going to get eliminated there.
Sure.
Somebody's going to move on, 7:30. The next day, Wednesday, January 1st, New Year's Day, 3 games again. Okay, you with me? So you have at 1, 5, and 8:45, the peach, the rose, and the sugar. Of course, the rose has to be there 5 o'clock New Year's, right?
Of course.
So the second round, which is the quarterfinals, it's a 1-3 again. How good is that going to be?
It's beautiful.
Okay.
It's beautiful. Well, the great thing about that is if you like January 1st football, you're going to have 3 games.
I'm glad you pointed that
on January 1st.
And I think there may be even more. There may be a few. But see, you said something. You and I grew up in an era. January 1st was the special bowl day.
It really was.
There were the 4-ish big bowls and 2 or 3 others. It was all day. So they've protected that, and the Rose Bowl has to have their 5 o'clock.
Of course they do.
Okay, so at that point, we're down to 4 teams. We've been eliminated.
Yeah.
How good? So you and I are just off the chart right here at this point.
Yeah.
Okay, so then fast forward a little over a week later, we go to Thursday, January 9th. There's only 4 teams left. Semifinal game number 1 on Thursday, January 9th. 1 game, 7:30 kick in the Orange Bowl. When that game ends, we know half of the championship game. Now, they don't play again that night. The next day, Friday, January 10th, the other semifinal game in the Cotton Bowl, 7:30 kick. When that game is over, we know the 2 championship combatants. And those 2 teams will have basically 10 days off. They then will move on to Atlanta, Georgia on January 20th, 7:30 kickoff. That's a Monday. Winner is the national champion in a tournament bracket a la kind of the NFL. Did I just excite you right there?
Yeah, you did. What also is exciting is in 2026.
Yes.
Next year's going to be same thing. 2026, it goes from 12 or it may go to 16.
Yeah.
So you've got.
It's definitely going to 14, I think, already.
Oh, yeah.
But then it's going to bump up, right?
Yes.
It may go to.
Yes, precisely.
So it's definitely going to get bigger. Is that any good?
Oh,
I just wanted to lay that out.
And I want you. Here's the thing that really almost angers you about this is and the powers to be fought this tooth and nail for years.
Decades. 4 decades. The bowls. The bowls are too important. And I love the bowls. I'm buddies with a bunch of Gator Bowl people and Brad Miller and friends and Rick Catlett for years. And the bowls were okay. The bowls were the excuse.
Oh, yeah. We had to.
I also wonder if potentially losing power was part of the excuse.
Oh, yeah. Sure it was.
You know?
Yeah, we had to maintain the.
Why haven't we been doing this?
Well, because we had to maintain the prestige of the Pool and Weed Eater Bowl.
The Pool and Weed Eater Bowl. You're right.
Now, here's something else to consider. For those of us who really loved the January 1st game, remember when we were growing up, January 1st was the end of the season.
Yes.
There were no other games.
Those were the final. There were more than just the big boy bowls, right? The rose and the sugar and the cotton and the orange. The Fiesta weaseled its way in, but the big boys, and there were 1 or 2 smaller ones, but that was the end. And as asinine as it sounds now, you waited for a couple of days for the final vote.
That's right.
But you kind of knew, but it wasn't in stone. You remember this. You kind of knew January 1st, that was the end of the season.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you had the big matchups, and you go, well, I'll tell you one thing. If Alabama at 1 beats fourth-ranked Nebraska in the Sugar Bowl, well, they're going to hold on and win the national title. But if Nebraska beats Alabama and Notre Dame is playing Texas in the Cotton, one of those could, right? You had to wait on the vote, though. But how asinine does it sound like how we couldn't just get this?
Look, today on November 13th in 2024, you've got media members. Fortunately, they're not many, but you've got media members who would prefer to go back to the BCS, choosing 2 teams those 2 teams play.
Isn't that amazing? Now, that is amazing.
That is.
Now, what I just laid out and gave you, we don't, unless you know and I didn't see it, we don't know, is it 5-12 the first game here? You know, we're not positive.
No,
but how we couldn't do this.
Agree.
It's baffling, isn't it?
Now, here are the rankings. If you went, obviously the first 4, Oregon, Ohio State, Texas, Penn State, they're off. They'll have a bye.
Right.
Indiana's 5. They would play. Now, 12 is Georgia. It won't be Georgia.
That's unique if they are 12, because they could get edged out, right?
It would be. Now, if you go to 6 is BYU, 11's Ole Miss, 7's Tennessee, 10's Alabama, and then 8, 9's Notre Dame, Miami.
Yeah.
That's who would play based on your first game.
Am I correct? Correct me if I'm wrong. Just because if you're a Power 5 and you plant yourself in 12, at number 12, that's a tenuous spot if the group of 5 conference winner is 18th or 16th, because they're going to get in. Could let's say Boise gets in, but let's say Boise loses another game but gets in, wins their, but it's still the high. They're ranked 16th. Would they supersede Georgia at 12 and knock Georgia out?
Well,
I think they would.
Because
they have to get in.
They have to get that 12 spot will be for your non-Power 5. And to your point, 13 right now is Boise.
There you go. I got a little bit of issue with Boise and not with them per se, but I'm not big on the big boys should hand a crutch to the little boys. And I mean that in regular season. I hear the argument, well, wait a minute. Central Michigan, Georgia Southern, Southern Miss, Eastern Kentucky, Kennesaw State football, they need to play the big boys for their budget reasons. They get the big payday. I've never thought that the big boys should finance the little guys' athletic program.
Yeah, and a lot of people do now.
And I just don't think. With that said, nothing against Boise, and I'm going to supersede and put them in as the group of 5 highest ranked. I just hate the fact that looking at Boise's schedule, they're going to get in, and their guy's probably going to win the Heisman Trophy. And nothing against him, Genty, or Boise State.
Unless Hunter wins it,
but you and I know that, and I'll feel this way even if Boise wins a first-round game. I think that can happen. Upsets happen in college football all the time. I know I'm going to have an issue when Selection Sunday rolls around in 5 weeks, 4, whatever it is, and Boise's that last spot if they hold on and win the rest of their games. I know I'm going to be able to rattle off. You're going to be able to rattle off. Patrick Young's going to be able to rattle off 4 or 5 teams that I legitimately, if you look me in the eye and I look you in the eye, I would go, this team are more deserving because of who they played than Boise.
Well, think about this. You've got
agree with that?
Yes. Okay. Count the number of. Do me a favor here. Count the Big Ten teams for me. Oregon, Ohio State, Penn State, and Indiana, and no more. Okay. Now count the number of SEC schools. Texas, Tennessee, Bama, Ole Miss, Georgia. So how many you got? Both of them.
Wow. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 SEC, 4 Big Ten. How do you? Okay. And for your argument, let's draw a line under Oregon, Ohio State. Let's say they meet in the championship game. They don't play their conference championship game. They don't play each other in the regular season. And Texas, Tennessee, they don't play each other, right?
Right.
They will not play. Okay. So those two go. Right now, conventional wisdom is each conference is going to get the max of 2. So even if you lose the championship game, Texas, Tennessee get into the big dance. Oregon, Ohio State get in the big dance. Boise, because we have a crutch built in, are you going to tell me you're going to leave Alabama? What if Alabama doesn't qualify, but they run the rest of they just don't qualify tiebreakers?
Well,
they run the table at 10-2.
Yeah.
Ole Miss, they don't play each other. Ole Miss could run the table at 10, just tie break their way out of it.
Yeah.
Penn State. What if Penn State tie breaks their way and doesn't get in Indianapolis? Are you telling me you feel comfortable putting Boise ahead of those guys?
No. But the you're going to the conventional wisdom is, and this is not a hard set rule yet. Conventional wisdom is both the Big Ten and the SEC will get 4 apiece.
You think?
Now 4 plus 4 is 8.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to.
12 is 4.
I don't think. Yeah, I don't.
So
think,
realistically,
so somebody's
besides those 2 conferences, you've got 3.
Yeah.
3. You've got
spots.
3 spots
Yeah.
remaining.
And
yes,
so do what I just did with the Big 12 and the ACC. What if SMU and Clemson find their way in Charlotte, and Miami, because they had an ugly loss, doesn't find their way to Charlotte? Hey, Miami, thanks. Boise's going, but you're not.
Yeah, right.
Boise's going, but you're not.
Yeah. Well,
and flip that around to the Big 12.
But here's the reality, Terry. You've got Miami, 1 loss, Georgia Tech. That's it. Could have had more. Yeah, we agree. But what if Miami? Yeah, to your point, what if they only have 1 loss and
don't qualify for Charlotte
and somehow don't qualify
tiebreaker wise? Yeah.
So
because keep in mind, SMU's undefeated.
That's right.
They don't play Clemson. SMU goes. Clemson goes with 1 loss, but they don't play Miami, and the tiebreaker works in Clemson's favor. So Miami, you're home, Miami.
But that, for Miami, the best season they've had in decades.
Absolutely.
Very well could not make it. But now if they go to Charlotte and they win, they
make it. But then Clemson may be the team that goes, wait a minute, our schedule was way better than Boise State.
But SMU's got a better schedule. They've got a better record than just about anybody.
I just hate for my eyeballs, your eyeballs, and most learned people's eyeballs. There's a good chance we're going to look and go, yeah, Boise State's going over Clemson, Miami, Alabama, because we got to throw them a crutch. We got to throw the little guys a crutch. How's that going to sit in the locker room of Alabama?
We sure.
How's that going to sit in the locker room of Miami? And Genty, I'm fine with Genty. I don't got anything against the running back for Boise State. His numbers are ungodly. Even though Miami lost the other Saturday, Ward put up 300 yards and a couple touchdowns. He didn't have his best game, but he had a good – Genty's had a 120-yard game. But what kind of ungodly numbers would Ward put up playing Boise's schedule?
Well, and another point here is look at the teams near 12. SMU's 14, A&M's 15, Kansas State 16, and Colorado 17. Okay, even if we cut it there, you're talking about 17 fan bases who are following every play, every first down.
Unbelievable.
And frankly, it's closer to 20. And then compared to what we had before,
all it's going to do is expand
in the Final Four. When maybe Terry, six fan bases were totally involved in November.
You had 2 hanging out, going, well, if we can get a loss here,
right.
You had 6 engaged by November 1. Now you got that number you just threw out, and it's going to get bigger. It's unbelievable.
That's right.
But we're close. We are close. But everything we just talked about, if this team wins and they're better and they can get in and all, we got to get to where the NFL is. The NFL doesn't have any of that. The NFL has mathematical formula.
Right.
They have multiple divisions. but they have mathematical black and white. They don't have any of this. Well, the Eagles fans are sitting there going, gosh darn, if we can win by 30 or more, a pretty win, and if the Giants can knock off the Cowboys, I think we'll get the vote. No, that's the next and last step.
So
right? College football's got to get away from committees.
Yeah, it's an improvement, but it's not where it needs to be.
It's not 100%. It's 75% now. And I'm concerned that a lot of your powers in college football, they don't want to give total control. They don't want to finally let it go.
No,
they want to be in the committee.
I'll tell you that. Now, here's another big deal that has been changed and changed for the better. National Signing Day is December the 4th. It's the first Wednesday, not where it was like the 20th and 21st.
Right.
And that week you've got playoff week.
Yes.
So you can't have National Signing Day.
So Signing Day is when now?
Signing Day is the first Wednesday of December.
And that's roughly the 4th, you said?
I think it's
and the portal's coming up in there too.
Yeah.
The opening of the portal.
But
you don't want Signing Day right in the middle
of the playoff week.
No,
absolutely not.
No. College football, it's been a long, long task. And we've lived it. We're getting better. College football.
Yeah.
We're not perfect, but we're close.
But see, the first Wednesday of December is still the same week as a conference championship week.
Yes. I didn't think about that. We're getting close.
Yeah.
And we can get there.
Yes.
The next major thing that has to happen to get us there is there's got to be somebody's got to figure it out. Smart people got to figure it out. You and I could do it if they asked us. But we've got right now, what are there, 130 Division I schools? We've got to lop it down.
1, 3, 4.
The NFL has 32.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it's a lot easier to manage.
Right.
College football, I get it. It's bigger than the NFL.
So,
but we've got to get down to 64 total teams, 70 teams. And then it's really manageable.
It is.
Then you bust it up into
very much coming.
Conferences, you bust it up into divisions, and then it's almost black and white like the NFL, right?
Yeah. Yes.
These 4 divisions get in, these 4 divisions get in,
right.
and 4 at large, and then the at large is the same as the NFL's wild card.
Yeah.
And then you go, no committee. You've got to get the committees out. You've got to get the committees out, right?
Yeah, you do. But this
did anything surprise as we go to break? Did anything surprise you on the second reveal? It doesn't really matter.
No,
but
not particularly. Kudos to South Carolina. LSU went down. Missouri, but they won. Still got Army at 9-0 and Tulane at 8-2.
Is there an uglier team? But they get it done somehow. That's still in the mix. I don't think they're really in the mix. But is there an uglier team than Missouri? That's still. You got to say they're in the mix. They're not going to be in the mix. But what about their win the other day in the final minute?
Oh yeah. Look, I don't know how Oklahoma lost that game. They scored both teams scored 4 touchdowns in the last 2 minutes. Now the other team that the people are going to when they really look at this, they're going to wake up and say, "Why is Indiana in there?"
Yeah,
because they're in the Big Ten and they're undefeated. That's why.
If Indiana was in Army's conference.
Yeah, right.
I think people go, who the hell's Indiana?
Yeah.
They haven't played anybody.
Real
quick, we got a few minutes, about 4 or 5 minutes before the top of the hour. We'll talk with Dr. Bates at the top of the hour. We'll keep Brent around. If you handed out SEC Coach of the Year, I've got 2 names, and they played each other, so this may be, but
Clark Lee would be one.
Clark Lee, Shane Beamer.
Yeah.
I mean, anybody else in consideration? I mean, what about now? South Carolina just beat Vanderbilt.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that's the determining factor, but Clark Lee, Shane Beamer, who saw those 2 coming? Tip of the hat to both of them.
No, I agree with that. I mean, if Kalen DeBoer in his first year, if they run the table and win the SEC title game and they're 11-2, maybe. But yeah,
I don't think that has the shock factor.
No, it doesn't.
Vandy has beaten Alabama.
Yeah.
I mean, Vandy beat Alabama. South Carolina's got big wins.
And listen, Diego, the quarterback, Pavia wants another year.
Yeah.
Why in the name of all that's good in the world would you deny? I mean, one of the most exciting players in America.
Why not give him 10 years? He's not an NFL guy, right?
No, absolutely. That's just
How about-
unmitigated foolishness.
How about that guy has a win, 2 wins over Auburn, a win over Alabama, and a win over Auburn and Alabama in the same year?
Yeah. Yeah.
That doesn't happen a lot, and
No.
it certainly doesn't happen at
Well,
Vanderbilt.
I'll tell you, last time it happened was 1955. How about that?
A couple more things. We'll go to the break here in a minute and visit with Dr. Bates. Salt in the wound. There's no other way to say this. We know about the firings at Florida State, 2 coordinators and a position coach mid-season. Ooh, it's bad. FSU, your note said they're not just bad on offense. Points per game, they're the worst
134
in college football. There were 134 programs in college football this year. Florida State is 134th in points per game at 13-3.
And that
13-3.
And listen, what that tells you is they also missed the extra points.
Yes, I guess. Last thing, top of the hour. We got a few minutes to get on this. It's hard to stay on top. Let's qualify. It's hard to stay up.
It really is.
College football
Really is.
generally you're good and you're bad is generally now. If you're really good, you're good for 6 or 7 years. It's hard to stay longer than that.
Exactly.
If you're a good program, it's hard to stay bad for more than that, right? So it's 6 or 7 years. We're not burying Georgia at all, but Georgia's taking a step back by Georgia standards. What are your thoughts on Kirby? I talked to a friend of ours. I won't name him. He's very connected in and around Georgia, knows what's going on. And I visited with him a long time at the Florida-Georgia game in the press box. And we got to talk about Kirby a little bit. And he mentioned to me, and again, he won't go named, he mentioned to me that there are some people around the Georgia program that are concerned about Kirby Smart. And the concern is from they're worrying about burnout. And they're worried about he goes so hard. He's all gas, no brakes.
Yes.
And you think of a guy like Urban Meyer, go. You think a lot of college football coaches are compulsive. And then you look at Kirby. He had the shoving incident with the opposing player. He really verbally botched the legal driving stuff probably multiple times with the media. He called one of his players an idiot the other day.
Yeah, right.
Is he is there cause for concern? I mean,
well,
I know he's a type A guy anyway.
He is. I mean, he's a Saban disciple, so that's where that comes from. But see, the problem is, to your point, you can't treat these players like you used to.
Agree.
When in Kirby's first years and Saban's first years, Saban will even tell you, and he did many times, after 10 years, players start tuning you out.
Hard. It's hard.
It really is. But he is, pushing the player. I'm telling you that could have been a big deal.
Right.
Now everybody made nice and they made
got
up
a break.
for it.
He got a break out of that.
He really did.
He got a break.
And when people miss this, he pushed the Mississippi State quarterback away. I mean, he said it was
a two-hand.
Yeah, he said he didn't really even realize who it was.
The player was by the sideline, and it was a quick reaction. But if you ask me, Terry, your eyeball test, yes, he knew it was another player. It was a spur of the moment. It wasn't a punch a la Woody Hayes, but it was in that ballpark. You can't do that.
No.
It would have been ugly if that was his own player coming to the sideline and he pushed him out of anger or whatever. It was an opposing player.
Right. Well, the problem is, and we could have a whole show on this, is where coaches are now and where they might be coming up in the next, say, 5 years as far as acting out.
Yeah.
On and off the field.
Yeah. Kirby is in that spot where you mentioned Nick Saban after about year 10. Coach Spurrier. His last 3 or 4 years, he was at Florida 12 years. His last 2 or 3 years, I know he went to his last season was an Orange Bowl win, 10-2, beat Donovan McNabb and Syracuse, quality win. Finished third in the country, went into the game 6. Gator Nation was 10-2. Well, Kirby's a little bit like that. Back-to-back titles. Georgia could have won 4 titles. They won back-to-back. were edged out. But this Georgia team's looking at a 9-3, 10-2.
They have issues.
But the fan base, you can almost see now. And if Nico plays near 100% for Tennessee Saturday, I think Tennessee wins.
Yeah.
If he's near 100%,
Yeah.
you can see the Georgia fan base mirroring that Alabama Saban, that Spurrier. 9-2. Where did we finish? 9th in the country. 9-3, 9th in the country.
What a disappointing year.
And that's tough.
When so many teams they'd give a limb off their body in order to have a record like that.
To be there. Let's take a break. 1 hour down, 1 to go. We'll catch up with Dr. Aaron Bates. We'll talk some sports medicine, a lot to cover. The Jaguars keeping the left shoulder very off limits. We really don't know what's going on, but the Jaguars have announced that today, it appears, Lawrence definitely will not go. We don't have a lot on that, but some other injuries, unfortunately, we have to talk about and discuss with Dr. Aaron Bates, our sports medicine discussion from Southeast Orthopedic Specialist. That and a whole lot more. Hour 2 coming around the turn here, coming to you live from Twin Peaks.
For those dealing with pain from a sports injury, arthritis, or spine condition, Southeast Orthopedic Specialists offers innovative new non-surgical options. Our regenerative medicine treatments, including platelet-rich plasma and other regenerative treatments, use your body's own restorative cells to aid in treating injuries. These procedures are performed in our offices and typically require minimal downtime. If you want to get back to doing what you love, our regenerative treatment options may be right for you. For more information or to schedule an appointment online, visit our website.
Finally, a family atmosphere, kid-friendly restaurant with a real sports bar feel. Bricks Jags Beach features all of that and a large, climate-controlled covered patio with misting fans and heaters for all seasons. Mix in an extremely diverse menu that features the most quality and affordable steak at the beach, and there's no reason not to enjoy your next lunch, dinner, happy hour, or big sporting event at Bricks Jags Beach, 300 2nd Street North in Jacksonville Beach. See you at Bricks Jags Beach.
Since 1936, Procter Ace has been proudly helping Jags with all your home and garden projects. Whether you need tools, paint, plumbing supplies, or expert advice, we've got what you need to get the job done right. Looking to brighten your yard? Visit our garden center for plants, tools, and everything to make your outdoor space flourish. You're not just shopping here, you're part of our community. So come in today and let us help you tackle your next project with a smile. After all,
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks.
When I say it means something to me, gentlemen, it means something to me.
High school football is back and it's bigger than ever. Welcome to the Friday Night Zone Blitz.
It is bigger than a game.
Watch the biggest games each week live as the action unfolds with instant reaction and analysis from our Hall of Famer, Kevin Sullivan. It starts with live look-ins at the top matchups, including our Jaguars Prep Whataburger Game of the Week, and that is just the beginning of 4 straight hours of coverage. From 8 to 10:30, the Friday Night Zone Blitz is streaming on our Action News Jax app and online. At 10:30, the Friday Night Blitz you know and love. A half hour of highlights from around the area. 11 o'clock, we shine the spotlight on the bands that pump up the crowd. 11:15, it's time to blitz through the highlights online and on air. Then 11:35, back to the stream to break down the night's results with a reaction from local coaches. 4 straight hours of high school football on the Friday Night Zone Blitz. Only on Action Sports Jax 24/7.
Baker Sports is local sports. Uniforms from Pop Warner and Little League to travel ball, high school, and college. They make you look good. They help you play good. Baker Sports has been helping families make memories that will last a lifetime with their Baker's Buckets. We've got a lot of these filled with baseballs and softballs in the garage. I've been throwing batting practice to Ty and Kaylee for years and also sit on the Baker's Bucket, catching Kaylee while she practices her pitching. Baker Sports is homegrown, and a lot of employees that used to play on local ball fields now work for Baker Sports, now helping you look good, play good, and make memories of your own. Visit Bakersport.com to see what Baker Sports can do for you. Custom apparel, Nike, Under Armour, Adidas, embroidery, screen printing, and more. Baker Sports is local sports from Jacksonville to anywhere in the Southeast. Bakersport.com.
All right, time to talk a little sports medicine here. Unfortunately, sports injuries are part of the sports world. Terry Norvelle, Brent Beard here on a Wednesday live from Twin Peaks, joined now by Dr. Aaron Bates from Southeast Orthopedic Specialist. The good doctor, first and foremost, looks like our Townsend State Tigers. We got a W. Did we rough up Hampton? Was that Hampton who we beat?
Yeah, we beat them up pretty good, 27-10. Yeah.
I saw that. Looked like you got way ahead and just kind of cruised.
Yeah, it was a pretty good win for us. 5-5 now. I don't think they have a chance yet for the playoffs, but we'll see.
I like it. And who do you have coming up next? Campbell or I can't
No, North Carolina A&T.
NCANT. That can we handle them?
I believe so. They've got one win this season, so
got to handle them. We got to get them.
Yeah.
Hey, Brent, did you see Doc? He threw out that 5-5 record. Kind of disgusted him. He wants an 8-2. Is what he wants.
Right.
I like it. You're a winner. You're a winner, Doc. Hey, Doc. Let's I'm going to put you in the untenable position I always do. And Brent and I were talking. We have a huge SEC game coming up. Georgia, Tennessee in Athens. Tennessee got a kind of a ho-hum win, right? They beat Mississippi State, which we knew they were going to beat. Nico, the quarterback for Tennessee, took a blow to the head first half and goes out of the game. Obviously, after the game, it's now reported Brent, concussion symptoms or protocol.
Some people reported it's a severe concussion.
And Doc, Monday or so, Heupel, the coach for Tennessee, saying, talking pretty nice. Okay, we think he'll be fine. But, Doc, my question, the concern for me, and this is untenable for you. I know you haven't seen everything. And he goes in at half. He has the injury in the game in the first half. He never comes back on the field in the second half. Never leaves the locker room. After the game, he was spotted walking around shaking hands. But to me, and Brent, I don't know if I'm a Pollyanna here, the fact that he did not come out for the second half, even to stand on the sideline, Doc, is there? Should I be concerned about that? That concerns me.
Well, you never know what goes on behind closed doors. They could have said, "Hey, this may be a mild concussion. You're kind of passing all the tests, but do we actually need you for this game? Should we not risk you for the second half? Because we have Georgia coming up next week. Yeah. We're handling Michigan State pretty good right now." And so that may have been it. That's the only thing that I can come up with. And he was in concussion protocol. He went through all the tests and all that stuff. And so, I guess it's looking like, his symptoms were fleeting. And, since he was doing well, he was out there Monday kind of running around a little bit.
Yeah.
And so, because if it was worse, he wouldn't have been out there Monday running.
You wouldn't think. Yeah, but Brent, am I reading too much into this? I was concerned. I didn't know until I read it a day or two later that he didn't even come out of the locker room. They just kept him in the locker room. But then he came out post-game with a towel over his head and all. Am I reading too much into this?
Dr. Bates, is there some treatment that he could have been receiving in the locker room that was important enough that they didn't want him to go out on the field?
Well, the only treatment would be, get him into a dark room, don't have his brain overstimulated, all those types of things that we do initially for concussion type symptoms. But that's about it.
Yeah.
Interesting. I hope I'm just being negative. Mm-hmm. It just concerned me. A lot of times I've seen the concussion guys. We've all seen them. They're shut down, but they're on the sideline. Even pads may be off, but they're hanging around. And man, when it said he stayed in the locker room, I was like, oh my.
It's a tremendous game coming up this weekend.
Big game. Doc, there was a description of an injury in the NBA, which just got going a couple weeks ago. Chet Holmgren, the big 7'3", really talented player for Oklahoma City. I guess he goes down hard and pelvis fracture, or what do they call this? however they described it, it sounded so painful. What's involved in the pelvis and the fracture? Is that a hip? What is that?
Yeah, so it's part of the hip bone. It's the same part where we talk about hip pointers and stuff like that. It's called the iliac wing, and kind of right how he hit from the side. We see this more in high energy injuries like car accidents and things like that. Right. But this guy's coming down he's a tall guy. He's coming down from a major height, right on the hip. There's nothing stopping him. He was a bony guy.
I was going to say that he's not a meaty guy. He's not a meaty guy.
Yeah, and so the compression there on the iliac wing, it fractured it, and so but that's more, I think where muscle attachments, for him running around and stuff like that causes more of the pain. Not really for as a weight bearing type of issue. It only hurts to bear weight because your muscles contract when you bear weight. And so it's maybe pulling on that area. Not that it's a fracture because you could have a fracture into we call the acetabulum or the hip socket. That's way more involved and has more complications if it's not treated right and you're out for a lot longer and those types of things. So this wasn't that. We just need to get his bone to heal so that he can get back running around and his muscles can work efficiently.
Does he have to shut it down for the bone to heal? I mean, is he shut down for?
Yeah, pretty much. Until it starts to heal, until it starts to gel together and start to solidify. They'll have him out there doing stuff before it's completely healed. Not competition wise, but just doing drills and stuff like that.
And that's an area you can't immobilize that, right? There's nothing really to immobilize.
No, not really.
Those awkward bones, right?
That's right. Not really that area. And you don't really need to. We just need to let the soft tissues calm down around it and let the fracture heal.
Dr. Bates, Terry and I both want to ask you about DJ Lagway, the Florida quarterback with a hamstring injury that he sustained in the Georgia game. What do you have kind of a rule of thumb on dealing with hamstrings when now this would be what, Terry, the second week, third week?
Well, if we add it up, and Doc will let you get to this, but if we add it up, he's missed a half, the second half of Georgia,
right,
a full game, and then I guess total time is 2.5 weeks or so it'll be.
Yeah.
So pick it up there, Doc.
Yeah. So remember we talked about this last week. And, it kind of depends on the intensity of the injury. They got the MRIs. It was grade 2. I think they say grade 2 hamstring, partial tear / strain that, well, like I said, can take anywhere from 3 to 4 weeks, sometimes even out to 6 weeks to heal.
I don't want to hear that, Doc. I don't want to hear that.
To be competitive. And so it looked like he was making some strides early on. But obviously he wasn't good enough or healed enough to be effective on the field. Now we'll see, what happens this weekend. Hopefully he's making enough strides where he can do something, but he may not.
I need him, Doc. Doc, I need him. How about this, Doc? I want to see if you'll sign up on this. If the entire offensive line at Florida, if they all pinky swear that they will protect him in a shotgun, can he stand back there and throw 20, 25 passes if he's not hit? Can he do that?
I think the pinky swear is a game changer. So you pinky swear, that throws everybody off.
I need him, Doc.
Yeah.
Doc, I need him now. I need him. Billy Napier needs him.
Yeah.
Right.
Dr. Bates, let's go a little further with that. Dak Prescott of the Cowboys.
Yeah.
What we read, it's got a tear.
Partial avulsion or something like that. Help me, Doc.
Does that?
What the hell is that? It sounds terrible.
Does that heal on its own, Dr. Bates, or is surgery normally required?
Okay, so we've talked about a lot of hamstring injuries over the last year and a half. I've been doing this with you guys.
Yeah.
And I've always talked about how when you have a hamstring tear or even any muscle / tendon tear, it depends on the location of where it is. All right, so you have the tendon, muscle, tendon, bone, right? Or bone, tendon, muscle, tendon, bone. That's the whole complex. And so most of these tears are either in the muscle belly itself, within the muscle, or at the muscle tendon junction. That's where the tendon becomes the muscle, and that's like that's the weakest part, and that's most commonly, that's where you get these things, and you don't do any surgery for that. That tends to heal on its own. That's what Lagway has. Right? DJ Lagway has something like that. When you get where you have a tendon off of the bone, well, there's not a good blood supply there to heal that. And so a lot of times that takes surgery to reattach that tendon to the bone. Now, they're talking about a partial tear of the hamstring tendon at the attachment site onto the ischium, which is one of the pelvic bones, where it attaches. Now, it depends on how involved that is. So there's three muscles that attach to that area, and you can have 1, 2, or all 3 torn off. They're saying partial, so I'm assuming that it could be 1 or 2 that are torn off, and they're trying to decide, or he was trying to decide on whether he needs surgery for that or not. Go ahead.
Are those locations where the grading comes in?
No, it's not really the location. That's not where the grading comes in. That's just of where it's torn. Okay. Now you can grade these tears. There's a different classification for that. It's not that helpful for that, and not many people use it for as far as the tendon avulsion off the bone.
But am I hearing you right that, and I may have this backwards, but there is a location of a hamstring tear that you would prefer versus not? You would prefer it being in the middle of the hamstring, not near the bone?
Right. You would, as far as having surgery or not having surgery. So for not having surgery, you would prefer it right around in the muscle area or the muscle tendon area. And that way, you won't need surgery for it. The only time we talk about surgery for it is when it's avulsed off the bone, for what Dak Prescott has, which is a lot less common. So
what's the avulsion part? What does avulsion mean?
It means ripped off. The tendon ripped off.
He says stuff like that all the time. But Brent, he says stuff like that all the time, just like it's normal talk.
Yeah.
Ripped off.
Yeah. Dr. Bates, we've talked a lot about heat and the summer and how athletes deal with that. Well, we're getting slowly into winter.
Yeah.
What do you suggest as far as when athletes, whether it's football or women's soccer or whatever it might be, we're about to head into some months that how do they protect themselves in cold weather to keep from problems coming? Any advice you give your folks for that?
Well, I think people misunderstand as far as being dehydrated, that can only happen or usually happens when it's really hot, but it's not. It can happen at any time. Okay. And we do find that even in colder weather, that people still cramp up and are more vulnerable to injuries because they think that they don't get as dehydrated because of the colder weather. So they're not, drinking water all the time and preparing in advance for competition. It's always preparation. That's always going to be the thing.
Brent just made me think of something. I don't know. I've never really thought this through, and I don't know if there's any studies to back it or not back it. But when the seasons change in sports, football plays through. It's hot as hell when their camp starts in August and hot as hell for 2 or 3 months. And then certainly the NFL goes deep into January, so it's cold. Are there any studies that say there are a lot less hamstrings, pulled hamstrings when the temperature goes below? Or are there any studies that say a hamstring is more apt to be pulled when it's 100 degrees versus, 55 degrees?
Yeah, I don't know of any studies out there. There may be, but anecdotally, I don't really see that. Obviously, you're going to be feel a little stiffer in colder weather, and so warming up is I don't know if it's more important. It's certainly as important as in the summer.
I got one more for you, Doc, and Brent May, and we'll let you go. I know it's we're using up our time. And Tua was one of the case studies that we talked about years ago, and it's come out a few times. That high ankle sprain, what do they call it? The shoestring?
Tightrope.
Tightrope. They call that. And to me, that's kind of something relatively new. I'm assuming in your field, in the medical world, there's always people tinkering with something. Might there be a tightrope hamstring, procedure somewhere? Is somebody constantly working on every part of the body? I would say. I got to believe all over the world somebody's tinkering with something, because that tightrope thing came out of nowhere, right? To me, 5 years ago, I never heard of it. So somebody was working on it somewhere.
I mean, as far as that, our technology, advances year over year, and there's a lot of partnership of docs and surgeons with industry and engineers to try to advance that's been going on. But in particular for the hamstring, I don't know if there's anything preventative. A lot of the time that tightrope thing, we think it a little bit aggressive, but it certainly can prevent further injuries, because typically we wouldn't treat that type of injury surgically, at least not right away, like you saw with Tua and I think with Brock Bowers, the Georgia tight end.
That was the other one.
Vegas.
Good pull. Good pull, Doc. That was the other one recently around here. He came back quickly.
He did. Yeah.
Well, we need a tightrope
hamstring.
Hamstring tightrope or
hamstring rope. Yeah.
And but
or shoelace, as you would put it, the hamstring shoelace.
I would guess one of the bottom lines, and this is always just a human thing, is a lot of the stuff that our athletes do on fields and courts are not natural to the body, right? I mean, the body. Right?
Yeah, I mean, high-level athletes, I mean, they do things that are not natural to the body, but their bodies are also, more accustomed to doing that and recovering from those types of injuries.
Yeah, definitely. All right, good stuff, Doc. Good luck with Towson. 5-5, right?
5-5. Maryland's got Rutgers at home. They need a big win as well.
I was going to say, Coach Loxley, they're hanging in there, and Brent, you've been on with us. Doc's was a teammate with Mike Loxley. Is there a better recruiter in the history of college football?
Best. He's one of the
best. That guy's one of the great recruiters. I need him down in Gainesville. We got to get him down to Gainesville.
Let's do it.
But I think he enjoys being a head coach, though, doesn't he?
He does. Yeah.
Right.
He's done nice things there at Maryland.
Yes, he's changed a lot of things there for the better.
Do you have any more games you're scheduled to go to, Townsend or Maryland, or you just I know the holidays are coming up?
Yeah, not yet. We'll play it by ear over this next month or so.
Did you and Coach Loxley meet at Townsend, or were y'all from the same town? Or I know you're from up in that area, right?
Yeah, I'm from up there, but no, we met at Towson.
At Towson. What was his position?
He started out as a free safety, and they moved him to the corner when I got there. Yeah.
Hold on. Note to self: if I ever run into Coach Loxley,
yeah, please bring it up. He won't like it.
We've got that on tape. We got it on tape, Doc.
Right.
All right, buddy. We'll let you get going. Thanks. Good stuff again, as always.
Thanks, guys. Good talking to you.
Our buddy, Dr. Aaron Bates from Southeast Orthopedic Specialist, the best orthopedic surgeon in our area. Guarantee you that. And if you've got orthopedic needs, remember, you dictate where you go. A lot of people think, you may go in to your primary, and they say, go here, go there. Well, hey, that's up to you.
Yeah.
Why not go to the best? Contact se-ortho.com, se-ortho.com. That'll show you all the locations. As a matter of fact, if you've got a pressing, immediate orthopedic need, do not go sit 8 hours at an emergency room.
No.
Hey, they will get you in at multiple locations. Go to the website and go ahead and cut a step out. Is there anything worse than you go to the primary? It may take you a day or two to get into the primary. And guess what? You need to go see an ortho. If you know that, you've got some serious stuff going on and you know it, go to the ortho.
Well, and I would say you could go to the Bumps and Bruises clinic before anything else.
Absolutely. That's going on, and our high school season got pushed back, so I think that's been pushed back a couple of weeks. And there, we talk about our location today, our Wednesday location, Twin Peaks, a new addition to our restaurant community. se-ortho.com, Southeast Orthopedic Specialist. Man, they've been a good partner in our community. I know they're all over, obviously, hence the name Southeast, but man, they have been a good medical partner in our area. And you know what? As we go to break, I think you'll concur with this. Duval County, we get picked on a little bit here, and maybe are we Georgia, are we South, are we North Florida, Georgia, blah, blah, blah. We've got really good medical in this area.
Really do.
They don't just throw a Mayo Clinic anywhere.
No.
Right?
No, that's
We've got
true.
good medical here.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely we do.
And I know people come from a long way.
Yes. And
You
we're
know that
growing.
Mayo Clinic, people come from all over the world.
They're always building over there.
Yeah.
I can tell you
Yeah.
that.
And, of course, part of that great medical is Southeast Orthopedic Specialists. Again, se-ortho.com. Brett, let's take a break. Come back. We'll kind of start landing the plane. We've got a half hour or so to talk some more college football, if that's okay with you.
Oh, yeah.
You okay with that?
Yeah, anytime with college football is fine.
We'll look at some of the big NFL games, but 4 or 5 really college football shaping games, including, man, I am really excited about Texas, Arkansas. We'll talk about that and a whole lot more with our main man, Brent Beard, here on a Wednesday from Twin Peaks.
Finally, a family atmosphere, kid-friendly restaurant with a real sports bar feel. Rick's Jags Beach features all of that and a large, climate-controlled covered patio with misting fans and heaters for all seasons. Mix in an extremely diverse menu that features the most quality and affordable steak at the beach, and there's no reason not to enjoy your next lunch, dinner, happy hour, or big sporting event at Rick's Jags Beach, 300 2nd Street North in Jacksonville Beach. See you at Rick's Jags Beach.
For over 20 years, Southeast Orthopedic Specialists has been providing the highest level of orthopedic and spine care to patients throughout Northeast Florida. Now, we're making that same great care even more convenient with Southeast Orthopedic Specialists Direct, a walk-in clinic where you can be seen for pain or injuries with no appointment needed. Staffed by orthopedic physicians and specialists, we offer everything from diagnosis and treatment to imaging and bracing, all with no appointment needed. For more information, hours, and locations, visit our website.
You really got to hand it to him. Hold on.
The previous play is under further review.
I'm not sure what he could review, but okay. Sure has been a while. Dine in at Hurricane Grill and Wings for the football season. Well, there he is. Oh, what is that?
Hey everyone, Olivia Tasley here from Action Sports Jax to tell you all the different ways you can watch our new 24/7 network. 3 easy steps. You don't even need a pen and paper to write it down. Step number 1, download the app. Search Action News Jax in your app store either on your phone or your smart TV. Then, once you're on the app, click on that little drop-down menu in the upper left-hand corner with the 3 little lines. That'll show you these options, and boom, right here, click Action Sports Jax 24/7, and you will be brought to our continuous stream channel. That app can be accessed through all these different platforms, whether you have Roku, Fire TV, Smart TV, Apple TV, or Google TV. You can find our app. Now, if you don't have access to the app, don't worry, we still got you covered. We're across all social media platforms from Facebook, Instagram, X, YouTube, Twitch. We have a podcast channel. Plus, check out our short reels on our TikTok. Action Sports Jax 24/7. It's on all the time and everywhere.
Summertime means sizzling sales at Nimnik Buick GMC. The #1 Buick GMC dealer in Jacksonville has lots of inventory to choose from with their best price guarantee. Nimnik never charges above MSRP. You can save up to $10,000 off select new GMC Sierras or get rates as low as 1.9%.
You know I'm a truck guy. GMC Sierra, my trim level is an SLT. This one's an Elevation. Pretty good looking color as well. So here at Nimnik Buick GMC, you have a lot to pick from. My father-in-law, he drives this, an Enclave. So
They like that GMC in the family. 2025 is coming around the corner, which means it's almost time to close out those 2024s this summer. You can schedule a test drive at nimnickbuickgmc.com. And while you're there, check your trade value and customize your payment options. Nimnick is there for you, even on Sundays. Visit the showroom on Phillips Highway or shop online at nimnickbuickgmc.com. Nimnick, your friends in the car business since 1941. GMC, we are professional grade.
Hey, one final segment with Brent Beard talking some ball as college football is really, what are we on the final? What are we on, the final 25% of college football season?
I don't want to admit that.
I don't either, but man, particularly in the SEC, as we welcome you back to a Wednesday edition coming to you live from Twin Peaks at the intersection of Atlantic and Kernan. We know we went over the college football playoff that's coming up. We got 12 teams that are going to battle it out. This damn SEC race is its own. It's a playoff right now.
It is, isn't it?
It is a playoff right now. Brent, we talked the other day. I want to get it back on, and we'll do it on Friday as well. 1, 2, 3. I've got 5 games I'm really looking forward to. You can add to yours if you like. I know this team I'm going to bring up is really banged up, and they had a heartbreaking, controversial loss. Colorado better pay attention. Utah comes in, and Utah's had a disappointing season, tons of injuries. Utah could make their season by knocking Colorado off. Is that one to keep an eye on?
Yeah. I don't think there's any doubt about it. I mean, people have made a big deal about Colorado, and I understand that. Now, look, this brings up a couple things here. One, about the Deion leaving Colorado. There was a story on Twitter, which is bogus, about Mike Norvelle leaving FSU and the Deion being the coach. That's not going to happen. I'm talking to people at Florida State who told me
certainly not going to happen this year.
No,
going into next year.
And I can tell you this: the current administration at FSU they're not real warm about and fuzzy about Deion coming back.
Okay,
they're just not.
Fair enough. Did you see? And I'm tooting my own horn a little bit, but there was just internet. I don't think it was anybody of note, but a little internet fodder that says, "Hey, what about Deion grabbing that Giants job, New York Giants job? They're floundering, the Big Apple, Deion."
Oh yeah.
And he says, "Hire me, and my kid's coming."
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And the Giants may get the first pick.
Yeah.
The Giants could tank and get a first.
And he obviously has been mentioned for the Dallas job too.
Yeah.
Would you want that job with Jerry Jones?
I think Deion would take that job. It's just so high. It's the Dallas freaking Cowboys. He played with a lot of teams. He won a lot of Super Bowls. He won a lot of games. When you really think of Deion, me anyway, when I really think of Deion, NFL Deion, I see the star on the helmet.
Oh, yeah.
And I know he had great success with the 49ers. He played with the Falcons.
Yeah.
He played with a bunch of teams, right? When you think Deion Sanders NFL, boom, what comes to mind? You see him in the Cowboy uniform. And it's Dallas.
But listen, persuade me that Deion's a real good coach.
Yeah, I mean, it's still up in the air. It's impressive what they did this year. They opened up 4-2 and everybody wrote them off.
Mm-hmm.
The Big 12's not great. I'll give you that.
No,
but that's a game. Keep an eye on. Keep an eye on games. I think a really fun game is Missouri at South Carolina.
It is.
That's going to be a black and blue game. Those two teams aren't pretty, and I don't think there's anything finesse about either team. Wouldn't you agree with that? There's not a lot of finesse.
No.
That's going to be a rock fight. They both want to beat you in a rock fight. Winner of that game goes to a higher bowl, I think.
It would.
And I'm not writing Missouri off, but they're not going to win the SEC. But, that's a bowl game, level game.
But Eli thinks they're going to, or Eli Drinkman thinks they're going to the playoffs.
There's times he rubs me wrong, and then there's times I go, I'm fine with this guy.
Yep.
He fights for himself, and he fights for his team.
Well, in the amusing thing that he talked about, but basically pick and fight with Oklahoma. Now I don't know what happened during the offseason, bringing detriment to Barry Switzer's fine name before one.
And I'm assuming he mentioned Stoops and Switzer. I'm assuming maybe last week, maybe I missed it. Bob Stoops must have had a microphone put in his face. Bob, how do you see the big game coming up? Well, Oklahoma never loses to Missouri.
Probably.
Right?
That's
'Cause
probably
he
where that
referenced
went.
Stoops.
Yeah.
And he really went out of his way to
Yeah.
to throw a left hook at Oklahoma. That game intrigues me. I'm intrigued by Florida LSU, particularly if I know Lagway can give Florida 20, 25 snaps, even if Florida feels like, well, we don't want to push it. Let's wean him in and out and use him the whole game. If Lagway can give Florida some time, legitimate time on the field, to where LSU can't just one-dimensional Florida and say, we know they're going to run. I'm not so sure with a little bit of threat in the passing game that Florida couldn't run it down their throat a la Alabama.
I agree. That's a vulnerable LSU team right now. And Garrett Nussmeier is the same because, he's thrown multiple interceptions against A&M in the second half, really struggled with Alabama in the second half. Their offensive line has been really good. They are banged up.
Yeah.
So there are a lot of issues for LSU.
That could be a pretty good game. That could be a pretty good game in Gainesville.
Look, let's just pretend a minute. Florida wins 2 out of the last 3. Well, he's back for sure at that point, right?
Yeah, and I guess he's back for sure. It'd be hard to back off that statement, but crazier things have happened. You could also say, hey, when we made that statement, we didn't know that Coach X was available.
Well, I'll think about this in a minute, but there was a time for the Gators. Foley gave a thumbs up, and then Florida was that when they went to Mississippi State and just got shellacked and got fired the next day?
Zook got fired the next day.
That's right.
Yeah, Ron Zook got embarrassed in Starkville. That was memory serves me.
Was that Saturday or Thursday night?
That was a Saturday.
Yeah, okay.
Spurrier got beat on a Thursday night
That's
years ago in Starkville. And then I think he lost a early noon game also where he punted on third down. But the game you're referencing was a Saturday early game. Ron Zook took the Florida team that was scuffling. 2.5 years in, they were scuffling. Zook had no luck. Had bad luck. But because of the loss, they fired him the next day.
Yeah.
But that was a Mississippi State team that beat Florida. That the week prior, Mississippi State got beat by 1AA Maine.
That's right.
They lost to Maine.
Yes.
Not Maine baseball, the Black Bears. The Black Bears in football. And then Florida couldn't beat them. So they let him go. A couple more games, and Brent will get you out of here. I know you got some other media duties to get to. Do not sleep if you're Texas, and they won't. But you better bring your A game, Longhorns. Arkansas will host Texas.
Yeah.
And we talked who would be the coach of the year right now in the SEC. I think it is down to 2. Clark Lee, Shane Beamer. If it wasn't for those two, if Arkansas wins another 2 games or so, Sam Pittman and his entire staff could win that. Do you agree? I think that is going to be a snake pit that Texas is going into, an old rivalry that they haven't played in a long time. I think that's going to be a hell of a game.
Listen, I heard the other day they hate Texas, frankly, more than they do any of their SEC rivals.
Is that right?
Oh, yeah.
The deep Big 8 days.
Oh, yeah.
And all.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Texas, don't forget, they've got a nice path. They've got one loss, but they got a tough path. They've got Arkansas, and I've got it somewhere. Oh, here we go. Texas at Arkansas, Kentucky at A&M. So they've got 2 hated rivalries that they still have to navigate to win the SEC. And the final game that really turns my head is the SEC marquee game, right?
Yeah.
Georgia reeling, by the way. Reeling. This Georgia program, I heard you on some other media, read you. I think Georgia is reeling.
They are.
They are. If you talk to anybody inside the program, outside the program, at Tennessee. Tennessee at Georgia. I'm telling you, if Nico plays to 80%, I think Tennessee's going to win that game.
I tell you,
and I thought Ole Miss was going to win last week.
I agree. I tell you how Ole Miss is going to win the game, and it's not going to.
Or Tennessee.
Tennessee going to win the game, and it's not Nico. It's Dylan Sampson.
Dylan Sampson, really good player.
Amazing player.
He's my dark horse Heisman. And I'm not taking anything away from Genty. Nice running back. But what Sampson has done against his competition
absolutely
versus what Genty has done.
Incredibly consistent.
Oh, my goodness.
And look, he's got like 20 touchdowns.
And where would Nico is not as advanced as Tennessee thought he would be.
No,
now he's young, and he'll get better.
Right. Right.
Where would Tennessee be without Sampson while they're nurturing Nico?
They'd be lost in the wilderness without Sampson.
As we go to break, Brent, we'll let you go. To catch people up, the SEC, the two highest ranked teams go to Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
There's no more divisions. Right now, 1, 2, 3 teams have one loss in the SEC.
Yes.
Tennessee's 5-1. Texas A&M is 5-1. Texas is 4-1.
Yes.
And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 teams have 2 losses.
Yes.
Georgia, Ole Miss, Alabama, Missouri, and LSU.
And look, there could be
a lot of this left.
But basically, all that bunch could end up 10-2.
And then we've got the tiebreakers we'll go over. Obviously, it starts head-to-head, but there's a very good chance. Don't get confused if your favorite team, you go, oh, darn, we've already lost to Tennessee head-to-head. Well, a 3-way tie helps you out in head-to-head because that can change it out, right? I can lose head-to-head to you, but I go, wait a minute. If we can get another 2 teams in and make it a 3 or more, that dynamic changes a little bit.
It does.
Because nobody will have the clear cut.
That's
so then it goes to common opponent, and then it goes to this. And then it goes to that.
And the final one's random draw.
That's the AKA rock, paper, scissors. Right. All right, buddy. Missing anything?
No, Will, and if we did, we'll catch up with it soon.
You got it. It's our buddy Brent Beard, who really is a big part of our show. We appreciate everything he does. He's got some other media to get off to. That'll wrap this segment up. We'll come back, put a bow on it. I also want to go over a really nice NFL schedule. Some really good teams facing each other. That doesn't happen this time of year all the time, but I hope you've seen it. If you have not, I'll go over the NFL schedule coming up, and we'll let you know what to pay attention to coming up in the NFL. One segment left here on a Wednesday. I want to thank good folks, our friends here at Twin Peaks at the intersection of Atlantic and Kernan.
At Southeast Orthopedic Specialists, we know pain and injuries can stop you from doing what you love. This is why our board-certified orthopedic specialists offer the latest in both non-surgical and surgical treatment options and create a treatment plan tailored to your unique lifestyle and goals. So, whether it is a sports injury or that nagging pain that's keeping you from doing what you love, our team has the right treatment for you. For more information or to schedule an appointment online, visit our website.
Finally, a family atmosphere, kid-friendly restaurant with a real sports bar feel. Bricks Jags Beach features all of that and a large, climate-controlled covered patio with misting fans and heaters for all seasons. Mix in an extremely diverse menu that features the most quality and affordable steak at the beach, and there's no reason not to enjoy your next lunch, dinner, happy hour, or big sporting event at Bricks Jags Beach, 300 2nd Street North in Jacksonville Beach. See you at Bricks Jags Beach.
You really got to hand it to him. Hold on.
The previous play is under further review.
I'm not sure what he could review, but okay. Sure has been a while. Dynamic Hurricane Grill and Wings for the football season. Well, there he is. Oh, what is that?
The Action Sports Jax 24/7 network is streaming. I'm Stuart Weber, and I'm here to teach you a nice 3-step process on how you can watch all your favorite programming from the Brent and Austin Show every weekday 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. or the Cup Date with me. It's fantastic. We talk NASCAR. It's a great time. Wednesdays at 1 o'clock. All right, first step, easy. Download the Action News Jax app. You probably already have it downloaded on your phone, so you might already have that one taken care of. Step 2, see that stack of pancakes up there? You click that stack of pancakes, and it's going to bring down step number 3, which is a full screen of all the different streams that you can click on, including the Action Sports Jax 24/7 stream. You click that, the video's rocking and rolling on your mobile device. You're watching all the shows you want to, and you're having a good time. You can also do it on your smart TV with the Action News Jax Now app. I do it on my Samsung TV at home. It's a great way to watch it on a nice, large screen for all the content. That's the Action Sports Jax 24/7 network. Hope you can find it.
You trust CGC to make your water great, and now you can trust CGC with your plumbing needs as well. Fast, convenient scheduling, licensed and insured. A quick call away at 904-552-1242.
You never know when you're going to have an issue with a shower, toilet, or maybe it's a sink that sometimes is easy to fix. All right, let's be honest. I'm not fixing anything. I'm totally staging this because when I have a plumbing problem, I call CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing.
Trained professionals, transparent pricing, customer satisfaction. Small problem or even a bigger issue. Maybe you need a new tankless water heater or something a bit more intricate. The experts with 25 years of experience at CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing can do it all. Call 904-552-1242 or visit cgcwater.com. That's
All right, there's a good looking shot, man. The fair seems like the fair has been in town for about 4 weeks now, but looks like they're having a good time. Before you ask, Zach, I know you weren't around yesterday, as we had that shot yesterday, and as we welcome you back, we're wrapping things up on a Wednesday here at Twin Peaks. Remember the big fight Friday, Tyson and Paul. You can this will be a fun place to watch it. I guarantee you that. All the football, you know that by now. Big time Thursday night game, by the way. We'll get to that in a second. And also UFC, they've got a big one this Saturday. So a lot of fighting. They got the big fight Friday and Saturday. And Twin Peaks, a big corporate sponsor for all the UFC MMA stuff. And this is kind of the hangout. In our area, this is the hangout. If you look for like-minded people that enjoy that, come on up and enjoy it here at Twin Peaks. Zach Rothrock, we had that shot earlier in the week of the fair. And no, I do not ride anything. I'm not a thrill seeker. I have no interest even in that Ferris wheel thing. That thing moves too fast for me. I don't do roller coasters. I don't want to do tilt-a-whirls or spinning cups, or I don't want to do anything. I don't know if you're one of those guys that likes that kind of stuff. You can have all my rides like that.
The Ferris wheel moves too fast?
Yeah, wait. Did you see it? Can you dial that show? Look,
I did. I mean, yeah, I saw it. I understand how it goes.
It must have been moving about 4 or 5 miles an hour. Are you kidding me?
Potentially, yeah.
Then you're up top. Hey, and how about the guy that'll stop it when you're up top? I love that guy. The tip top. I'm like, what are we doing? What? No, don't stop it.
So,
I don't want to get on any.
My 5-year-old, my daughter's in kindergarten. She rides the Ferris wheel.
Are you a what do you call the thing that roller coaster guy?
Oh yeah, I'm a big time roller coaster guy.
Never.
I've been to Cedar Point in Ohio. They got like the tallest and fastest stuff. Yeah.
Did it live up to your expectations when you went?
I mean, I was only 11 years old when I went, so yeah, definitely it blew me away for sure. I thought it was crazy. Yeah.
Hey, did you like that Shane Beamer talk we were talking about? Maybe Coach of the Year in the SEC. Would you? What do you think about that?
Yeah, I feel like he should be up for it. And I mean, I know that there were some people on this show that were saying he wasn't fit to be a head coach at all before the season started.
Absolutely. I'm gonna say this is just a blip. And
a
South
blip?
Carolina.
I don't know.
South Carolina is supposed to be terrible too this year, and I was far from the only guy that thought they would be the worst team in the SEC. I mean, Brent Beard, national guys, a lot of people thought South Carolina was going to be terrible this year. They have really surprised me.
Yeah, a lot of people just copy and paste their same take from last year and just go ahead and put it down. That's the way that goes. No, I mean, they surprised me as well. I mean, I didn't think they'd be nearly as good as they are, but I mean, yeah, they got. They're the front, particularly Kennard and Dylan Stewart. They can wreck any game against anyone.
Real nasty front four.
Oh yeah,
the edge guys are real nasty. But literally, even though Beamer just beat Clark Lee, obviously South Carolina recently beat Vandy, right? They played them like a week or so ago. And
yeah, Saturday. Yep.
So, yeah, South Carolina won the game. I'm not so sure. Because where Vandy is coming from, that Clark Lee might not get that vote, though. You talk about a hell of a year. How about Vanderbilt, who they've beaten? Hell, they beat Alabama. They played Texas off their feet, right?
Yeah,
they played Texas. And then the other guy that Brett and I just talked about, this program is getting overshadowed a little bit because they've got more more success than the other two. Sam Pittman at Arkansas. Arkansas's had a really nice year. They're a tough out,
they've had some good ones, yeah.
Yeah, they're going to give Texas hell, I think. Zach, we got a few minutes here before we get out on a Wednesday. Tomorrow we'll be live at Sliders, as you know, our Thursday home. But today we're wrapping things up at Twin Peaks. I think it's, I don't know if it was last weekend, might have been 2 weekends ago. We had a real dog weekend in the NFL. Just everybody that was playing it was really good versus really bad, or two really bads. And sometimes the NFL plays out like that. This is a hell of a week, I think. How about this?
Oh,
have you looked at the game tomorrow? You seen that game, the Thursday night game?
That's the Eagles Commanders, I believe.
How about Commanders 7-3?
Mm-hmm.
Heartbreaking loss the other day, by the way. They're at Philadelphia 7-2, and they're division foes. That's going to be a hell of a game.
Oh, yeah. I think the Commanders got a real shot to win that division for sure. I would imagine that. Yeah.
Speaking of where did they come from, and I know that they got a magical quarterback now, year number 1, but where the hell did the Commanders come from this year?
Yeah, I mean, Dan Quinn really turned things around. I mean, when you get Jaden Daniels, I mean, that's one of those catch lightning in a bottles type picks. But I mean, they've had some solid players for a while. They kind of been one of those that they feel like they've just been a player or two away. And then when you get a guy like Daniels, I mean, he's a force multiplier.
And that's a runaway division. I mean, Dallas and the Giants are just pushed to the back, right? I mean, these are two big time programs taking over.
It's one of those. It's gonna be one of those two.
Good for Thursday night because, you're an NFL guy, man. We've gone through some stinkers on Thursday night over the years. I mean, there's been times. Ooh.
Yeah, it almost feels like Monday and Thursday have almost switched. It feels like a lot of the bad games are Monday night, and Thursday's a little better, sometimes at least.
I think that's a hell of a game Thursday night. Washington 7-3 at Philadelphia. Big time game that'll go to determine that division. They'll probably both make the playoffs, right? Unless they both just tank it.
I would anticipate they both make it, yeah.
But you want to win your division, right? You want to win their division.
Oh, yeah.
There's value in that. Another game I've got noted here, not the best records, but because they play in a division that nobody's run away with it. San Francisco trying to get healthy. They get a win over the weekend. The Niners 5-4. They host Seattle 4-5, and that's one that Seattle doesn't, can't afford to lose. I know that's a rivalry a long way from us. That's heated, man. Those West Coast teams don't like each other. We forget about that a little bit, I think, being way over here.
NFC West a pretty physical division from top to bottom. I think the Cardinals are going to win that one when it's all said and done. But the 49ers, I mean, no one's going to be surprised if the 49ers turn things around and go on a run and just start ripping off wins every week.
Don't you get the feeling if the 49ers win again, they'll go 6-4. That'll knock – if the 49ers win, that'll knock Seattle down to 4-6. It may knock them to sleep. May put them to sleep.
It will be hard to come back from that. Yeah, not impossible, but hard.
Speaking of Arizona, they were good to you in the picks, weren't they?
Arizona, they won outright as a 2-point underdog. Yeah, one by a lot. That's rare.
31-6. Two more games that are obviously I'm not the only one, but two more really good looking games in the NFL this coming weekend. And I say weekend starting Thursday. How about Baltimore? My pick to win the Super Bowl. I'm staying with them. 7-3 Baltimore at 7-2 Pittsburgh.
Oh yeah,
how good is that game? And what about Pittsburgh? They have to go Washington and Baltimore back to back.
Yeah, in some ways, it's almost kind of an advantage from like a scouting team standpoint to get to do those two similar offenses back to back. But I mean, oh good Lord, that'll be the first time the Steelers meet the King Henry version of the Ravens offense. So that'll be something to see for sure. I think that's gonna be a high scoring game.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking 14-5 record combined. That's a nice game. And then I got to believe this is the marquee game of the weekend in the NFL. Wouldn't you call Buffalo at home, 8-2? They are hosting 9-0 KC. And KC gets the best of these guys most of the time. I know this one doesn't count as much as a playoff game, but, would Buffalo love to go ahead and say, hey, you're not undefeated anymore, and we know how to beat you. right? This is a big psyche game for Buffalo.
Oh yeah, they've got it circled. They've been thinking about this game for a long time. I don't fully understand why this isn't the Sunday night football game. They got Bengals and Chargers there instead, but it'll be a 4:30. Yeah, I mean, got to be one of the biggest, most anticipated 4:30 window games we've had in a really long time. So I would expect it'll be like record viewership.
And Buffalo really needs how do I say this? If Buffalo really expects to meet up in the playoffs and knock off Kansas City, don't they need to win this game just to know they can beat them?
Yeah, and to give, I mean, just looking at, I mean, Buffalo's probably got their division locked up. They've only got 2 losses. I believe they're 7-2 right now, maybe 8-2. Either way,
yeah, but they're 4 games in the loss column ahead. Even though Miami just won,
yeah,
they're running away with that division.
Right, the division. But both of these teams are kind of at the stage where they're looking at each other more. They're looking at more conference seeding. And if Buffalo wants to have any type of shot at getting the 1 seed, they have to win this head-to-head matchup because Kansas City isn't going to lose very many more games. They might end up with 2 losses if you hand them one, and then if you win out, you might can get the 1 seed.
Yeah, and that is huge. I mean, and we're out of here, Zach. But I don't think nobody will admit this. Nobody truly thinks they're going into a Pat Mahomes-led Kansas City home game in January, and you're going to win that game, right?
No, definitely not. You don't want to have to go against Chiefs Kingdom.
No, you don't. That'll wrap it up, Zach. Good job as always. I want to thank Brent Beard and Dr. Aaron Bates. We'll do it again tomorrow, Thursday. Our show will be live 4 to 6 from Sliders. Have a great rest of your Wednesday, everybody.
For those dealing with pain from a sports injury, arthritis, or spine condition, Southeast Orthopedic Specialists offers innovative new non-surgical options. Our regenerative medicine treatments, including platelet-rich plasma and other regenerative treatments, use your body's own restorative cells to aid in treating injuries. These procedures are performed in our offices and typically require minimal downtime. If you want to get back to doing what you love, our regenerative treatment options may be right for you. For more information or to schedule an appointment online, visit our website.
Finally, a family atmosphere, kid-friendly restaurant with a real sports bar feel. Bricks Jags Beach features all of that and a large, climate-controlled covered patio with misting fans and heaters for all seasons. Mix in an extremely diverse menu that features the most quality and affordable steak at the beach, and there's no reason not to enjoy your next lunch, dinner, happy hour, or big sporting event at Bricks Jags Beach, 300 2nd Street North in Jacksonville Beach. See you at Bricks Jags Beach.
Since 1936, Procter Ace has been proudly helping Jags with all your home and garden projects. Whether you need tools, paint, plumbing supplies, or expert advice, we've got what you need to get the job done right. Looking to brighten your yard? Visit our garden center for plants, tools, and everything to make your outdoor space flourish. You're not just shopping here, you're part of our community. So come in today and let us help you tackle your next project with a smile. After all,
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks.
When I say it means something to me, gentlemen, it means something to me.
High school football is back and it's bigger than ever. Welcome to the Friday Night Zone Blitz.
It is bigger than a game.
Watch the biggest games each week live as the action unfolds with instant reaction and analysis from our Hall of Famer, Kevin Sullivan. It starts with live look-ins at the top matchups, including our Jaguars Prep Whataburger Game of the Week, and that is just the beginning of 4 straight hours of coverage. From 8 to 10:30, the Friday Night Zone Blitz is streaming on our Action News Jax app and online. At 10:30, the Friday Night Blitz you know and love. A half hour of highlights from around the area. 11 o'clock, we shine the spotlight on the bands that pump up the crowd. 11:15, it's time to blitz through the highlights online and on air. Then 11:35, back to the stream to break down the night's results with a reaction from local coaches. 4 straight hours of high school football on the Friday Night Zone Blitz. Only on Action Sports Jax 24/7.
Baker Sports is local sports. Uniforms from Pop Warner and Little League to travel ball, high school, and college. They make you look good. They help you play good. Baker Sports has been helping families make memories that will last a lifetime with their Baker's Buckets. We've got a lot of these filled with baseballs and softballs in the garage. I've been throwing batting practice to Ty and Kaylee for years, and also sit on the Baker's Bucket, catching Kaylee while she practices her pitching. Baker Sports is homegrown, and a lot of employees that used to play on local ball fields now work for Baker Sports, now helping you look good, play good, and make memories of your own. Visit Bakersport.com to see what Baker Sports can do for you. Custom apparel, Nike, Under Armour, Adidas, embroidery, screen printing, and more. Baker Sports is local sports from Jacksonville to anywhere in the Southeast. Bakersport.com.